And the open-ended responses, they will tell you what is it that they don't understand. Maybe it's not clarity, maybe it's differentiation. Maybe it's like, how different is this from HubSpot or whatever category you're in? Or if you're an analytics tool, how different is this from Google Analytics or Dream Data or Hockey Stack? And if it's not clear how you are different and or better, I'm just going to go with the brand I know and trust. HubSpot is easy, right? We buy Heinz ketchup in the supermarket.
Thick, rich Heinz ketchup.
Because that's the default ketchup.
Best ketchup I ever tasted.
On today's episode of All the Hats, we have a special guest talking about message testing, ICP, and just general go-to-market, what's working, what's not working.
I've been following Pep for a long time, and one of the things that I really appreciate about him is his strong point of view on things. So I'm excited to ask him a bunch of questions to see where he stands. Without further ado, here's Pep.
Thanks so much for joining us on the show, Pep. Welcome to All the Hats podcast.
Hey, Pep. How's it going, buddy?
Thanks for having me. It's going great.
So where in the world are you calling in from?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Is everything bigger in Texas? Is that what they say? Everything's bigger in Texas?
It's true. Whenever my team comes to Austin for a visit, their first reaction at any restaurant is like, holy shit, the portions, you know?
So I think we would love to just fire off a few questions to you, man. We've been following you for a while, what you've been doing at Wynter. And I mean, it comes from a personal place from us, Alicja and I, because we really love, ICP research, customer research, and using that as the foundation for messaging, positioning, campaigns, all of it. I just started this company over a year ago, and when I got funding for it, one of the first things I did was I signed up for Wynter to do customer research or ICP research. And the reason I did it was to figure out how I was going to position the company, who is it for, what are the pain points, what are they looking for, what words do they use, and kind of feed that into messaging, and that I can use for content creation and campaigns. So I feel like knowing your ICP and your customers or your ICP, your target audience, is just the first step any company should do before they start spending money on anything else. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. I mean, unless you're bringing out true innovation that nobody has ever done before, you're likely entering a competitive market, with strong alternatives. So, if I take the example of Wynter, and we're only a 4 years old company, so also a startup, the category that we eventually picked is market research, old category. So we did category research, and by doing category research, we surveyed VPs of marketing and product marketing in like SaaS companies of certain sizes. And we wanted to understand what is their perception of market research. And why were we doing this was to understand where to position ourselves in this bigger because let's say if we're selling cars, fast and horsepower and luxury and cheap, you can have any kind of car. So same thing. Like what are they thinking when they hear market research? Where is there a wedge? How we can enter the market? And what we learned was that the general perception of the category was that yes, it is useful. In fact, it's essential to do our work. However, it is old, it is slow, it's expensive, it's like old school, stuffy, smells bad, but we still got to do it. So our takeaway was that if we enter this category of market research, and we also considered calling ourselves something else, not market research. We maybe audience research, maybe marketing testing, like what is Wynter, But we learned that, and this is not just one survey, but like many, that market research is the frame of reference. If we describe to somebody, hey, we do this, what is this for you? Is it analytics? Is it research? Is it testing? What is it for you? And overwhelming, it's research. So we knew based on the research that market research is the right category, but we needed to quickly then have what is the unique flavor how we are different from the stuffy, slow, old school, and if you, and basically we double down on this attribute of speed, that we are the fast alternative to traditional market research. We are the fast, anything 48 hours, because usually it takes months to get any answer. So that's just one example of like, you need to know how people think about the category you're in, and what do they think about what's possible in terms of positioning, like what are the angles, and how, of course, you need to do competitive research too. How are different players positioning themselves? Like if you're a CRM and you're up against HubSpot,
good luck.
and like you cannot win, right? Like, and then if you look at like who are the newcomers in the CRM category, it's Adio is like one of the newer players, and they are all like with AI focused messaging, which is not what HubSpot is. In fact, they are trying to position HubSpot as the old school CRM, and we are the new school.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious, being the proprietor of a ICP research technology, how often are you using Wynter for Wynter?
Yeah, all the
Because
time.
you essentially get all the time. I was thinking as I was preparing for today's interview, I was like, oh, that is his superpower. He's got endless access to Wynter to be able to continue to refine your messaging and making sure that you're hitting your, the nail on the head, talking to who you need to be talking about. Yeah. Okay. So how often are you pivoting? So you get to do basically endless amounts of research, basically. And then how often do you take that information and like pivot?
Well, pivot is a strong word. We have pivoted once. So when we first launched, this is like 2020, we were a consumer research business, only doing message testing. And we were called copy testing, copytesting.com. That was the business. Because all the research we had done up front before launching, interviews and things like that, were pointing to us that, hey, we found a pain point that people are worth paying. This is a pain where people are ready to spend money on, which is like fixing their copy, optimizing website copy. And we were going after e-commerce companies, companies that sell supplements that need a lot of copy of like, take this pill and, lose 50 pounds.
Oh, interesting.
And then after going to the market, we of course learned that once copy is written on a website, on a consumer website, they don't ever change it. Like they put on a new product, write copy, and that's it. So that need actually was bullshit. And also we learned very quickly that consumer research is a red ocean, hundreds of identical companies. And some of them, the market leaders, are extremely savvy, have amazing features, and they're just insanely good. Like we looked at Suzy.com. I'm like, holy shit. It's going to take us 10 years to catch up to these guys. And we bootstrapped and they're well-funded. So like we cannot win, because as business strategy, first question is you need to answer, how will we win or why will we win? And I could not answer that. There was zero competitive advantage. And then as a signal, B2B companies started showing up asking, hey, can you do this for B2B? Like we need we want feedback from VPs of this or that. And we're like, no, but we have moms between ages of 30 and 50, want those. Anyway, so that's when we pivoted from consumer business to B2B. But everything after that has been, let's call it a more micro optimization. Positioning angles, absolutely. And positioning also evolves with your business, because we were monofunctional, we were message testing only. So it was easy to say, hey, we're a message testing tool. And we were the only one in the world, the only one for B2B. And that was easy. But as we started adding more use cases, target customer surveys and, brand tracking, user testing, things like that, then, so now we, over time, evolved into now we're market research category.
Yeah, I mean, we actually used to work with this company, and I think we gave them this the idea of Wynter on a silver platter. In our old job, it was called a testa. And we were always like, why the hell don't you do proper B2B testing? And they were like, it's not a focus for us. And we were like, just do proper B2B testing. We just want to ask these people, it was bankers.
Survey,
yeah, we want to do a survey to bankers in B2B and just do it for us. And they were like, we can kind of do it for you, but then they stopped doing it altogether. And then I think at the same time you kind of came up. Great.
But the difference between that is for a test, we wanted a survey that would give us the exact results that we wanted.
Yeah, well, that's not good research, I guess. So I guess my question to you is like, if you imagine a smaller B2B company, I know you work with companies of all sizes, but like imagine a small company, what should they be testing at the moment? Are they testing just like fundamentally what is their messaging or their problem of their target audience? Are they testing copy? Are they testing different products, or what do companies typically test with you guys?
Yeah. Well, it really depends, obviously, on what are they trying to do and so on, and often they test stuff in order. So let's say maybe it's an early stage company, and if you're in very early stage, meaning like you're just launching, coming to the market, what you're looking for, number one priority is message market fit. So yeah, when you bring a new product to the market, or before you bring the new product to the market, you want to find that message market fit, because it will really help you figure out if this is what the market wants. You can now spend the rest of the time figuring out how to deliver it. Because in the same way, like you said, you wanted B2B audiences from another company. When we first thought, hey, B2B is showing interest, we crafted an offer. Hey, we do B2B now. And we had no idea how to deliver. And then when we successfully pitched it to a few companies and they gave us real money, like we were now like, hey, how do we design a machine that can deliver it regularly at a standardized quality, great quality, and so on and so forth? Because that's a harder thing. Like what to build, I think, is a much harder question than anything else. Because you need to build something that the market wants. If you're a larger company and you already have product market fit, you're already making a bunch of money, then there are two main use cases, the types of research that companies do. And one is message testing, which is like they're continuously refining either their homepage copy or product page copy for various products. Could be their homepage, the umbrella, or for a specific product. How do I increase their motivation to sign up, schedule a demo, get in touch, whatever we're optimizing for? Because when you do message testing, you will find out the friction. Like what keeps them from signing up? What questions do they have? What doubts do they have? Things like that. And also what's resonating? What should you double down on? And the second type of research companies do, which is actually number one, is the ICP survey. So you survey your target audience, the very people you're trying to market to sell to. And you want to understand how they view this problem that you're trying to solve for them. How are they currently solving it? And what are the symptoms they're experiencing because of this pain inside the company? It depends on your maturity. You might be looking for how the angles, how we can position. Hey, like everybody's like weak in this area, and we can be strong in this area. And then how many people care about that problem? Because you can also solve a problem that either not enough people care about or they don't care enough about. So there's the jobs to be done framework is a classic one for this, where you want to find an unsolved problem that is you have them rate on a 10-point scale. How big of a problem is this for you? You want eights and nines. And then what is your current satisfaction level of how well are you solving it right now? And here you want low scores. No, I'm very unhappy with the way things are. 2, 3, 4. If it's not a big problem, or they are quite happy with the way things are right now, they're not going to switch. They're not going to pay Like somebody asked me how we use HubSpot as a CRM. How happy are you with HubSpot? It's all right. It does the job. I think I'll give it a 7. Like if a better CRM comes along, I'm like, dude, I'm a 7. Like the pain of switching, is not worth it to me.
I think going back to your point just about the messaging and positioning and having an opportunity to test that out is super important, because as we know, there's not a lot of traffic being driven to these B2B sites. So how are they going to know if their messaging is working or not? And also, like, we know that A/B testing just doesn't really work because there's just not a lot of traffic that's going to your website. It's just, especially if you're a small niche B2B SaaS company. And so having an opportunity to be able to see if it's something was resonating or not is really important and really useful. And I think now more and more people are really seeing that it's not about what color your brand is. It's about the words that you have on paper. Like, what are you talking about?
One of my favorite stats that I pull out sometimes, I think it came from you guys at Wynter, was like, which would be win in a boxing match? Would it be messaging or like the UX and visuals? And it was like 9 times out of 10, the messaging, the words actually matter more than anything else. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the description of value to be delivered. Like, would OpenAI's ChatGPT website win any web design awards? I don't think so. Right? Same as like in consumer world. Like Amazon's conversion rate is 74%. 74% of people who look at the product will buy it.
Wow.
Is it because Amazon's the product-based design is the best in the world? I don't think so. No. So if you copy that, like, will you also get 74% conversion rate? No. And another, like, my philosophy on this was changed many, many years ago when I was a conversion optimization consultant, and I was working on this website customer. And there were it was a Shopify website, and they were doing $1 million a month in revenue. I'm like, holy shit! And they were selling candles. Their design was the default Shopify theme. Like, it didn't effing matter, because what they sold was interesting. They sold. It was called diamondcandles.com. I don't know if they're still in business, but basically, you burn a candle, and once the candle is burned, you get a ring. And some of those are real diamond rings. So it's kind of like a lottery. So the concept, like telling the story is what got people to buy. The design was like whatever. So good design, of course, makes things better. Like Airbnb is, great UX versus like, I don't know, booking.com. But hey, man, booking.com makes hella money.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the things that happened to me back in our old job, where we used to work at a B2B SaaS company selling to banks all over the world, was it was the market leader in the space. And then like one day we just woke up and just nobody was buying the product anymore. And it was just like, what the hell happened? Why we were the cool ones and now we're not. So we tried pretty much everything. We spent more on ads. We tried different tactics, moved the marketing mix around, and it took us a couple of years to figure out it was a messaging and positioning issue, actually. What we were saying to the world wasn't resonating with our target audience anymore, and that's when me and Alicja got obsessed with doing research to figure out actually what is the market, the people that buy the product actually looking for now. So one question for you is, like, let's say you either have a problem, you just don't know if your messaging is good or not, or if you're starting out with a company and you want to, do some research to figure out how you're going to position yourself and do messaging. Let's say you do a survey on Wynter, and you get the answers back. Like, what would you do how do you use them? Like, you have a scale, you have some questions were a scale from 0 to 10. Some of these are open text field questions. How would you, Pep, go through such a survey result,
and put it into practice.
And put it into practice.
The main thing is that you want to understand what is the problem. That is your goal. I want to understand what is the problem. The problem is some sort of a friction that they're experiencing in their mind. and there are different categories of where the friction is. In B2B, often the problem is in the category of clarity. They just don't get what it is. Like a lot of B2B companies default to this B2B jargon copy, we're synergistically creating this streamlined, AI agentic system here. Like, what is it? So what Wynter gives you Likert scales on a 1 to 5 scales of how big of a problem is one category. Let's say clarity. So we give you a score of like maybe it's 3.2 or 4.1 or whatever it is. So you would understand which category is first of all the problem. So on this 5-point Likert scale, anything above 4 is good, anything below 4 is bad. Below 3, absolutely terrible, right? If clarity is like 2.7, like nobody gets what you do. So, and the open-ended responses, they will tell you what is it that they don't understand. And maybe it's not clarity, maybe it's differentiation. Maybe it's like, how different is this from HubSpot or whatever category you're in? Or if you're an analytics tool, how different is this from Google Analytics or Dream Data or Hockey Stack? Or and if it's not clear how you are different and or better, I'm just going to go with the brand I know and trust. HubSpot is easy, right? We buy Heinz ketchup in the supermarket because that's the default ketchup, right? Like, it's solid, it's dependable. There's a Heinz ketchup for every category, for every price point. And again, you can test with Wynter. How clearly they understand why choose you over, or rather, I should say, when to choose you? Like, because people value different things. Someone cheap, someone luxury. I want 100 integrations, or I don't care about integrations, things like that. And then the most important part is then the value. So the value is the promise of value to be delivered. Like, if I were to buy this, is it clear how my life is going to improve? Like, what is the value of this product,
Just question about the value, because sometimes value can be a bit tricky, right? Because it's like we want to make more money, like we want revenue to grow. So like, how do we communicate the right level of value, I would say,
without sounding like everybody else?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And outcome focused language is terrible in most cases, because everybody says saves times or make more revenue. But like, is that why you buy a CRM? No. Like, so I think we need to think more broadly. So the value, the question you need to answer in your mind is, does this copy or messaging make me want it? And just think about back to when you visited a website or a product, could be a consumer product. Like, when you read it, oh, this is cool, I want that. Like, how much is this? Because price also matters, because, we all want a Bugatti, but like, do we want to spend that money? Like, do we have that money? Probably not. But I would think that, well, how can we make people want it? And it's not just words, right? It's images, screenshots, cool videos. This is like marketers can be creative here. And some novelty, of course. Because the value and differentiation are linked in the way that if it's not obvious how this is different from the status quo, then I don't want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So question for you then. You've gotten your results back from some research you did. Would you then go and package it into a website front page or a landing page, or where are you going to go to test it in reality, I guess?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would ship our best. So basically, understand which categories of your messaging or copy need improvement, read the open-ended responses, and formulate hypotheses what needs to be improved. Oh, we need to improve clarity. They don't get how it works. They have questions about this and this and this. Let's add that information in. So you use your brain and what they tell you to come up with a version 2.0, and you ship it to the website as soon as possible, without committee meetings, without waiting for weeks, without everybody being aligned, ideally. And of course, if you work at Salesforce, that's very hard. If you work at a startup, it's very easy. You can ship shit right now. And that's what we do. Like whenever I run a message test on Wynter's website, changes are made immediately. Like if you go to Wayback Machine and check changes on our homepage.
And how long are you letting that run for? Just until you make your next iteration? Do you sometimes go back to where you were before?
And how do you measure if you feel like it's working? Like what metrics do you look at to kind of see, oh, this is definitely better than what we had?
With message testing, as soon as a ship changes, I usually run immediately a follow-up message test to see if now clarity went up, if value perception went up, like those objections that were there. I don't get how this works. Did those go away, right? Sometimes when you ship changes, you actually make it worse. It happens. So doing a follow-up message test is key because that's instant feedback, and speed of feedback loops is critical. And then you put it on your website, and over time, let's say that message test says that it's good, go with it. There are two things. Like if it's a self-serve motion on your website, they just sign up or schedule demos. You can start measuring if those things go up, and of course, there's natural fluctuation on your website, on your conversion rate. It goes up and down 10, 15% week over week. So the improvement needs to be at least not worse than before. And to really attribute that things got better because of the changes we made, you need to see an improvement of like minimum 20%, ideally 25%. So we got 10 demos a week, and now we're getting 13 demos a week. It's probably because of the changes we made. Not necessarily. We can't really prove causality without actually A/B testing it. But in most cases, it's most companies cannot do A/B testing. You need many hundreds of actions per month, signups, demos to measure that. And then sales meetings. So let's say you change your positioning. You don't just change it, of course, on your homepage. You change also how you pitch yourself on social, how you talk about it, the way you frame the problems you talk about. And then sales meetings, when your salesperson who conducts the demo needs to frame it appropriately. And that's, so use all these feedback channels.
No, that's very good input, because that's something we've thought about a lot here, is how to measure if something worked better than the previous version. And so my company, Optimize AI Website Analytics Tools, what we do is we're trying to look at different metrics like conversion rate, conversions, to see if a page is performing well or not. But, the thing that is very important is, do you have enough conversions to have a significant result? So one of the things I feel like sometimes just doesn't work in B2B is A/B testing, because you need, a few hundred conversions for it to be measurable, not clicks or visits, conversions. So could you speak to that?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. A/B testing, you can calculate the results and see if they're statistically valid. There are all these A/B test calculators out there. You just Google it. And yeah, you're right. Like, because how many conversions you need depends on how big is the uplift. Like, is variant B 10% better or 27% better? But roughly speaking, yeah, you need like 500 total conversions, minimum, per time period. So usually 30 days, and so then you have 200 versus 300 conversions in an A/B test. If you're not anywhere close to that, like, forget about it. Then qualitative research is your only way. And in qualitative research, the concept of statistical significance doesn't exist. So really the concept now here, statistical concept is saturation. So basically, you're identifying themes. How often, when talking to people, asking them questions, how often does this or that come up? Pricing issues, or I don't understand, clarity issues. And you only need about 15 people to identify all categories of issues. More sample size can be better, because then you can also have an understanding of the distribution. Like, 80% of people said that this is an issue, is more powerful when you test it with 50 people versus 15. But if you just want to know what the problems are, 15 people is enough. And you can get those answers within a day, as opposed to running a 30-day A/B test, even if you have the traffic.
Exactly. That was my biggest problem with A/B testing. You wait a month, and then it was statistically not telling you anything because you didn't have enough numbers, or it was like 0.03 difference. So
exactly. And A/B test also, I mean, it's a different purpose. So A/B test is a measurement methodology. It does not tell you why B is better than A.
Exactly.
Or why A was worse. But qualitative research will tell you why.
So you're basically preaching to the choir, obviously. We're big fans. We definitely understand the value of Wynter. And I think that most of the people in the audience will also understand the value, but always this step is, how do we speak to the level above us? You know, do you have any like talking points that you can give to the marketers out there to A, carve budget out for this, B, basically budget? How do we speak to our CEOs about the value that Wynter will bring to us, and instead of them saying, well, like, it's fine.
We know what they want.
Yeah, we know what they want, kind of a thing. Because I think that oftentimes is the biggest push.
Yeah. So the way I think about it is that, first of all, it's easier to help people get to where they're going as opposed to telling them you should go someplace else. So you shouldn't tell your boss that, hey, you should want this instead, not the thing you're already wanting. That won't. If you tell people that you should want something else, is a very hard sell. It's a very hard sell. So what does every boss want? They want to improve certain metrics, and if it's marketing, it's always pipeline, demos, sales. Okay, so we're aligned that we want more pipeline. So we're spending X, we do SEO, PPC, I don't know what else, whatever we're doing, we want more pipeline generated. Now, but why aren't we increasing more pipeline? You can ask around. People have opinions. Okay, well, what if instead of opinions, we had data on what's stopping people from booking more demos with us? And for a low price of $5.99, we could find out what is it that's keeping them from scheduling a demo. And so how much are we spending on ads? Maybe our ad budget is, I don't know, $5K a month, $10K a month. This number is like whatever, and we could know tomorrow. And then, so I would use that language. So we can get data. And if you have discretionary budget, sometimes marketers already have that, hey, you can, if your expense is under $1,000, you can put it on a corporate credit card. Don't need to ask permission. I mean, it depends. But you can just run a test and come to your boss, hey, I did this study. Here's what I found out. Look, if we fix these issues, we're likely to get more demos booked.
I love this. I think that'll be super helpful for people in our audience to be able to speak to their uppers for, how we can basically use the tool that we know is going to be helpful for us.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Pep, because I know you're active on LinkedIn, and I am too, and I'm just seeing so much garbage on LinkedIn at the moment, especially what I feel are kind of hidden sponsored campaigns tricking you into a product with over-promising the value of it. So I'm not going to name any names at the moment, but where do you stand on, being accurate with your messaging versus kind of just knowing exactly what your ICP wants and kind of over-promising it on LinkedIn, for instance, in a post, and then asking them to comment to get what you have to offer?
Well, it's nuance, right? We're all playing a game. LinkedIn is all a big game, right? We're all trying to play a game and win. And we might have different strategies for winning. And it also depends on who is our buyer. Some people are more, let's say, naive than others. I think if you sell to consumers, it's much easier to make whatever BS claims, and there are more people that are ready to believe it. And if you sell something that costs $10,000 a year, $20,000 a year, $500,000 a year, there's a committee, right? And you can fool less people with your claim. There's more checks. So for some people, it might work. So there is something that social media, like the character count you have and how much people are willing to read, it sets limitations that there's not enough room really for nuance. And nuanced takes that, sometimes this works, and on the other hand, sometimes this works. Nobody wants to read that boring shit. It's boring.
Yeah.
So you do want to be a little bit controversial, and you state something that's true 90% of the time as an absolute fact. Like people who don't do this, their business will, suffer. And of course, there's gray area, but it catches attention. And people might pause, and they might even argue with you, of course, which is good for you, because then it creates comments, and you can defend your point of view and admit that, yes, of course, there are cases when your claim is not true. People want strong opinions. This is something I learned about social media a long time ago, and I've been very social media focused because it historically has been my absolute number one marketing channel for Wynter. And if you do soft opinions, it won't go anywhere. People like strong opinions, especially if they're backed up. And we can look at many like social media superstars where this has worked. Like Chris Walker, who's not doing Refine Labs anymore. Like he said, hey, lead gen is bullshit. Instead, you should do demand gen, and this is how I think about it. So calling out something that everybody's doing as wrong, and then offering a better way or a different way, a new way, and do this consistently for 5 years. So obviously, one single post ain't going to change anything. So not lying, obviously.
Because I think when Ómar said when he started Optize, he knew the first thing he wanted to do was go to Wynter, and I think he found you because of social media, right?
Yeah, I think I think I did see you first on LinkedIn, and I did see you on a couple of podcasts, and definitely what resonated with me was that you did definitely have a strong no bullshit opinion, and a point of view. So that's what I liked about it, was like you had a strong opinion on different things, and I really liked that. Same with our Chris Walker over here, and framed here in the background. So he's taking a little hiatus at the moment, but that's kind of what seems to resonate without, if you can defend it, if you get into a comment war with people, and if you can defend it, then it's good. Then it's fine. I just feel like a lot on LinkedIn now is just really, just outrageous claims and people falling for it, and it just surprises me.
Anything like AI agent, fired all my marketing team, and now I do it for $40 a month with this one agent I found, that kind of bullshit. Or there's everybody's organic reach is down. Well, I should say most everybody's. Then there are LinkedIn people out there that are posting posts that still get 5,000 likes per post, which is, of course, insane reach. And if you look at those posts, like what's happening there, it's of course, an influencer selfie in a nice beach or like whatever setting. And then some bro philosophy, like, hey, I was having my cup of coffee and looking at the birds, and what does that mean for my personal freedom? I don't know, like, and there's an audience that's just really eating that shit up. And especially if you sell a dream that is like, again, it's a more consumer focused dream, like, hey, I'm remote digital nomad and I'm making $100,000 a month by doing coaching. People would eat that shit up because everybody wants that dream. But if you're selling serious B2B software that's, $25,000 a year, doing those influencer posts, I mean, which VP at $100 million company is like, oh yeah, wow, ooh.
I'm gonna buy that software. So. Yeah, that's for me.
Maybe then the perfect next question for you, like. What do you see working in go-to-market at the moment in B2B? Like it's becoming very noisy. You got SEO, AEO, GEO. You got cold emails. Busier than ever. Social media, like paid ads. Like what like content collaborations, live events, webinars, podcasts. What is working for you guys at the moment that you feel like it cuts through the noise?
The fundamentals of content marketing is still our bread and butter. So this is LinkedIn organic, webinars, newsletter, email of various sorts. And this is, of course, not a fast machine. This is just a long-term machine. So this is by far number one. I want to say our second best channel is some sort of word of mouth. And it can be a customer referral, or mostly it's somebody who's heard of Wynter and know what we do has told about us to somebody. And this is so again, people recommend you without having ever used you for something, but they need to know your positioning. So if a company like this wants to do that, they recommend you. You want to do ICP surveys with B2B executives. Well, that's what Wynter does. So they need to know something about you. So I go to events as an attendee. I throw events. So this event strategy, live events in person, is where you can meet a lot of movers and shakers and influencers. Again, long-term thing. The more people know you, know what you do, and like you personally, the better for your business. Paid. We're doing some paid and LinkedIn thought leader ads are working great for us once the post has demonstrated organically that it actually works, and now we just boost it. But thought leader ads, cheaper than other ads, but compared to organic reach, it's still it's expensive. So we don't do we don't do any direct response ads because our product is expensive and complicated. We haven't figured it out yet. We do a content-led ABM, if I can call it that, which is like we have a target list of companies that we want to sign up as customers. A couple of hundred companies, and then who are the decision makers, VPs of this and that, at those companies that we want to get to know, and they should know that we exist. And so this and the strategy there is content co-creation. We get them on our podcast. We are on their podcast. We invite them to our event, or we meet those people at some events. Basically, find a way to get on their radar. And the easiest way is like we invite them to co-create content with us and make it dirt easy for them to participate. And of course, giving them something that they want, like fame, reach, things like that. That works. Outbound for us doesn't work due to our couple of factors: deal size, and as well as we are not solving a top 3 hot burning problem, and we are not generating more pipeline tomorrow. The best products for outbound is like, if you buy me now, you get more pipeline, next month. You can outbound that all day long.
Would you say that your like events, the things that you were just talking about before, not the ABM ones, but kind of like live events, going events, would you consider that more of like a brand play? That this is how you're focusing on brand, or would you say it's you're sharing your messaging?
It is a brand play in the sense that I have zero expectations that they will buy the next week. So it's a long-term, it's not direct response. I will make sure that the right people, my exact ICPs, mostly are in the room, and that I can network with them and they hear certain messaging over the couple of days that my event is 3 days long, or like 2 days plus a pre-day. And we've done 3 so far. Spring is our conference in Austin. Next one coming up in March. Maybe you want to come check it out. Because we did this big study on how B2B purchases are made, or how in marketing, MarTech. How do VPs of marketing and CMOs buy software products? And overwhelming in number one is that, starting with, of course, they have a need. They need something. There's some sort of a problem that needs solving. But it's once they know that, okay, I need a tool for this or that, they're going to first go to their network and ask, hey, what are you using for this? Because they're building a short list of tools to look into. And they might be aware of some tools on their own. And so this is basic mental availability. Who comes to mind right away for them and their friends? And if you're not in that list, it is extremely difficult for you to win any deal. And so this is all pure brand. This is all pure brand, because what is brand is, it is like they need to be aware that you exist, and then you need salience. You need to come to mind when they're thinking about this problem, and then brand preference, meaning that for some reason they prefer you enough to look into you. They like you personally. They like your content. Your value prop is interesting, like whatever that is. Knowing this, like the performance marketing is only there for when they're searching for a tool that you're visible. Your ad is right there, or maybe you rank high on ChatGPT for that query. So brand, not to be underestimated.
I think that's super important. And a message for all of our marketers to listen to, because I know it's a tough sell for them, because oftentimes, bosses are looking for that attribution, like what was that investment for and how many leads were brought in by that campaign or by that event or this or that. And they're not playing the long game or thinking about it in terms of the long game when it comes to brand. But it is super important. And I was saying to Ómar that I recently heard a quote that if you're not investing in brand, you'll be paying for it in CAC for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yep. CAC is going to be way, way higher, because word of mouth is the cheapest, way to acquire, especially if you're in that first shortlist. So, yeah, people will ask, what's the ROI? So here's where marketers need to educate whoever is the decision maker that it's not performance marketing like 30 to 60 day ROI window where it's like, hey, put, $1 in and $2 comes out. You need to measure this in a different way. So people cannot buy you if they're A, not aware that you exist, and then B, have sort of values. They know your brand attributes. Like if you're an analytics tool, like how are you, like they need to know which attribute do you have that's different from those other players. Everybody has a different position, right? Google Analytics or Mix Panel or, like whatever, Amplitude. They need to place you somewhere. So they need to be aware of those attributes. And it's your job as a marketer to communicate those. And then and the brand preference that, hey, if I need to start my own podcast, like what's my preferred tool? Like, hey, I'm gonna use Riverside, to record. Like it's I prefer it. And so you want to measure year over year. Is it awareness going up? Are our ICPs more aware that we exist now versus last year? And then, like, do they prefer us? And, like, do they even have an opinion about us? Because if you're an early stage startup, maybe they've heard of your name, but, like, what do they do exactly and who are they for? No clue, man. This is your biggest problem.
Yeah, really interesting conversation, Pep. I mean, I think we're almost out of time. I have one final question for you. And it's a follow-up to what we just talked about. And so I wanted to ask you, what are your favorite tools that you use personally for yourself or for Wynter? The company that I founded, Optimize, we're trying to change the game of website analytics, which I feel is a clunky, horrible game at the moment. All the tools out there are terrible. So my first question would be, what tool do you use to measure, Wynter.com? And what other tools do you typically use as part of your,
marketing stack?
Yeah.
I'm on GA4, Google Analytics. We don't get that much traffic to it. Like, I'm not really optimizing the traffic flows, and like my needs are very minimal here in this category today. We use HubSpot, our CRM, and email, email list. We recently started using Goldcast for our webinars.
What about like for your personally? Do you like use any AI tools like Superhuman or like to write emails faster or anything that like?
I mean, I'm using ChatGPT and Claude every single day. Well, 100 times a day for all kinds of stuff, analyses, bouncing ideas back and forth, refining my ideas. No magic AI tool that will triple your pipeline next week, unfortunately.
So you use it mostly for kind of brainstorming and ideation, or do you ever use it for copywriting?
In a way, yes. For AI is amazing at saying things in a shorter way. Like, okay, this is what I want to communicate, but I only have like 11 words that can fit here. Like, suggest 7 ways to say it in a more, succinct way. Is really good at that. Also, I mean, I have uploaded. I'm using Claude for writing mainly because it's still better than ChatGPT. Uploaded CSV of my last 4 years of LinkedIn posts, so it knows my tone, my style, how I write, and I do have it structure. So I write stream of consciousness. Actually, I record with audio. So like stream of consciousness. What do I think about this topic? Blah 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 blah. And then I give it to Claude. Hey, organize my thoughts in a way, And I never copy paste from Claude to like LinkedIn. Like it always.
You prefer Claude to ChatGPT for copywriting then, or is it the different purposes?
Mixed use. I mean, I use AI, as I said, for anything. Also, like any type of data. Even like survey data. So how many people talked about this issue? Ooh, and what did they say exactly? Like instead of asking myself, I asked ChatGPT, and of course, think along. You can't outsource your thinking, but really speed shit along. Speed up.
Do you feel like ChatGPT and Claude have kind of eaten up a little bit of the research space, or like because it's like consultancies are dead, Deloitte and
there's a lot of hype around it for sure, especially like, Gartner, look at the Gartner stock, and and nobody needs them anymore. So there's a lot of hype, but there is some truth. Like I think desk research, secondary research, like doing market size evaluations and things like that. Like, of course, you use deep research and you can get very nice data and stuff that used to cost $25,000, like proprietary tools. I think ChatGPT has eaten up a lot of that market. Now, primary research, which is like asking the people that you want to ask. I mean, ChatGPT don't know shit about anybody's priorities this quarter, so.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Pep. It's been super valuable for us, and we really appreciate you carving out this time. And we will hopefully come to your event in Austin.
Yeah, thanks, Pep.
Awesome.
Really interesting conversation. And Pep specifically told me not to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways because I do like what Wynter does. If you do need some customer research for various purposes, you can go to wynter.com with a Y and check it out because I think it's the only tool for B2B companies, honestly. But really, thanks, man, for making time and jumping on All the Hats podcast.